Welcome, my name is Tishana and this is StarMade. When last we left off, we added these beautiful cargo containers to our station over here. And I want to continue this trend, just adding elements to the station as I go along, because like I said last time, this is a very modular station, so every module I can basically think of something new I want to add. It's a very free way to build. I never know what I'm going to end up with, because I'm maybe making it up as I go along. But yeah, that's a good way to build as well, if you like that sort of thing. But yeah, what I want to do is at least continue this cargo section, basically connecting it better to the station, that it is encapsulated in some armor at the end over there, basically slotting into the station mainframe, and then perhaps concentrate a bit more on the inside of this area, basically where the shipyard is going to be. So the first thing I'm trying to figure out is basically what I want to build here with some wireframing, basically making a layout of the armor panels I want to build, and then how it wraps around the whole of the cargo container section in the back over here. And I also enlarge these entryways to the cargo sections over here. So I'm thinking of making this a door that you basically can access from the inner part of the station by collecting goods and then using them to build a ship in the shipyard section over here. I'm not sure if I showed you this before, but I did add some AMS turrets to my station as well. So I've got two of them guarding this landing platform over here in this side of the station. So that's 4 in total over on this section. But yeah, we're building on these container cargo, what do you call them, slot-in panels we want. So I continued filling in the outlines I made. Basically, this is some greebling to make it look a bit more interesting, and started filling out the back of this section with the area for the door I'm going to have. So this is where the door is going to be with the rails. And then I've got this water screen thing over here as a force field to keep the atmosphere in, if there's any in this section. But yeah, I think this will work out. Still need to copy it to the middle one, because yeah, I had this symmetry plane set up so I could build two at the same time. But I think this is what I'm trying to go for, but just the greebling is going to be a bit different, I think. And this is more or less done. So I copied the design I've had over to the middle as well. So now I've got 3 identical modules linked together with the different color cargo containers slotted in. And as you can see here, I did a bit of work on the entrance for this door section over here, with some lights on the side to indicate something, something technical at least. Made use of some negative space in this section, for example, to keep it a bit more interesting for the armor plating. But yeah, it quite works out as I intended, I think. So the next thing I have to worry about is basically connecting it to the rest of the station. So that's basically this section over here needs to be connected. And as you can see here, I did some work already with these armor lines over here to separate the main structure from these modules over here, and trying to figure out how I'm going to continue this. What's probably going to be some sort of shipyard arm, I think. So that's probably the next thing I'm going to build, and then I can copy it over to the other 2 arm sections I have over there. This is my first attempt at continuing this station module for the arms. Basically continue this shape that I had established with the cargo container holders, and then basically continue these lines of armor all the way to the top. And I try to incorporate these elements sticking out of the main body into the arm section. Basically got this by using the corner blocks over here and then having some space to get this through the armor. So that's how you can get very clean lines if you try to connect shapes like this, because normally we don't have blocks to connect these angles together. So this is a way to solve that if you're looking for that. But I'm not quite happy with how this is going, so I'm probably going to try again. And this is my second attempt, so it's something similar but a bit different as well. I did keep the main shape because it connects so well to the rest of the modules over here. And like I said last time, I don't want to go beyond this red line because that's basically the absolute line that ships that are in the shipyard can go to. So I have to keep that space free. I incorporated these big lights in here, so that's something I want to continue in what are going to be the arm sections over here as well. So basically you can get the very big lights in this this angled shape over here to light up the shipyard in the middle. So basically light up the ship itself, of course. Not that there is lighting on entities that are not part of the station, but yeah, I can imagine that it would at least look nice if it's all lit up like that. So yeah, let's continue these arm sections and then we can see what the effect of that completed module is. And here we go, one completed arm module. As you can see, I continued this lighting effect in the arm section as well, and I wanted to keep them very robust, very strong looking, because there's going to be big ships within the shipyard, so I want to invoke the feeling that at least the shipyard is protecting the ship that's housing or is parked inside this space. So that's why it's very robust type of arms. I also did some experimenting with some detailing here in the middle between the arms, but yeah, that's not really something I'm all that happy with at the moment. It looks a bit too spindly and not practical enough, I think. But I have another idea of one to try to get something between these between these two arms, between the space, to fill it up a bit more. But I'm going to copy this design to the other two sections first, I think, just to give me an idea how the shipyard space is going to look. This is much better. I really get a feeling that I want to build a ship within this shipyard space. Yeah, basically having an environment to build something in is something that I wanted from this station as well. So the space is big enough to build a lot of ships types, I think. But yeah, this will get the creative juices flowing, I think. So it worked out quite nicely. And I also started with my idea for this filling up this space between these arms, added this robotic arm in between. So basically you could imagine that this robotic arm would swing out and then move parts of the spaceship in place where it needs to be. I built this as a static robotic arm in gray, but I'm not quite happy with the detail it has, mainly because it is at an angle. It's kind of difficult to get some details in there at that angle, but I did my best. But I'm probably going to replace this with a docked entity, I think. Probably articulate it with the hinge over there to get it to 45 degrees. Who am I kidding? I'm just going to do that anyway. I should have known better. I should have done this from the start. And it's now bright yellow, because why not? I always make cranes and robotic arms yellow for some reason, but I like it. Yeah, the contrast between the yellow and the gray really works out for me. You can also make it red or perhaps orange. That could work as well. At least a bright warning color, I think. And as you can see here, it's a lot more detailed, has a lot more of these hinge points, so it looks a lot more articulated. And I changed this robotic hands thing as well with a bit more detail. And then just basically use some logic and rails over here to angle it to a 45-degree angle. So now I just have to copy it to the other spots as well, because you can definitely see the difference between this old design. It's basically ugly and yeah, it doesn't stand out. And this design, a lot more detail and a lot more noticeable, basically. So yeah, let's copy it to the other sections as well. This really brings in some color in the rest of this section of the station as well. So copied all the yellow cranes or robotic arms in each of the pillar sections on each side, so it's all identical. And I can rotate them, but that's only for maintenance purposes. They're not fully articulated, so they can't really move within the docking space. But not really that serves a purpose, except for looks fun. But that's a recipe for disaster, I think, if I do that. So having them here as decoration is good enough for now. But this really makes this shipyard section come to life, I think. I only have to fill in basically the section between the arms over here, and then this inner section of the station is almost done, at least as far as design goes. And as you can see here, I also did a bit of experimenting with adding doors to the cargo section over here. So this is my current door design, and I have to copy it over to the other cargo sections as well. And it will be docked entity, so it will be able to open. Yeah, really works out. Also did some additional decoration for this middle part. Had this grate here in the middle. I have to do something with lights and things like that behind it to make it stand out a bit more, but the interior is for a later date, so that will do for now, I think. But yeah, I quite like how this space turned out. There's one more thing I want to do, and I think I have enough time this episode, because I have so much progress within this inner space of the station, basically the leg portions of the U shape I'm going for. I think I want to at least try to more or less add the final section over here. So I need to think of some things over here, and then basically it's going to be antennas sticking out, communication arrays, to finish up this leg section of the station. So step one will be, of course, the framing. I've got this element over here, and I'm trying to figure out to get some elements in here to fill up this section of space. And my idea is to have these very big turrets, two on each side, one above, one below, to guard the entrance to the shipyard portion of the station, basically. So once I design these bigger turrets, then I can use them on the other side of the ship as well. Basically to form the main defense grid of the station itself. So I'm just trying to figure out some shapes over here of what I want to do before we go to the next step. Step 2 will be filling out some of the border sections of the shapes I've laid out with the lines before, and you can now see a bit more what type of shapes I want to add. I did these white spark plug things before. I quite like how they always integrate in my designs for ships or stations, so I'm using them again. Got some ideas to incorporate some AMS turrets here as well, 2 on each side, to see if I can beef up the AMS coverage of this station. So now on to step 3. Step 3 will be filling out the shapes you laid out, and then basically step 3B will be realizing that you didn't place the element correctly. You have to move everything one block to the left. So basically step 4 will be awkwardly copying this thing, moving it to the side, then cleaning up your junk. Next step, please. Step 5, we have filled everything out. Everything is now moved to the correct position. I did some test fitting for the AMS turrets over here. They're not going to fit, so I abandoned that idea. Instead, I went for this idea, AMS turrets on each of the docking sections for the cargo base. So that will add a lot more AMS firepower to the station and give better coverage for the angles that missiles can come from. So yeah, I think that the main elements now are in place for the arm sections. Like I said before, I only have to fill in the intersections between the arms still. That's going to basically be where the entrance for the main hangar bays are going to be. So I have to incorporate some elevators, things like that. But I think it's going to be for next time because I'm running out of time for this episode. So I hope you enjoyed my progress on this station because there is a lot of progress again. So it's going the right way. And if you have any questions or comments about this station, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you next time.